Well, thank you very much. I think I'd like to start by thanking you, all of you, for being here. It's great to see that we have such great interest. And I believe the interest is in line with what we have heard from our two chairs, with the fact that energy is on the top of the agenda. The reason for that being there is a massive change going on. We see increasing complexity and there is high urgency. I think that really summarizes why probably most of you are here. The Chairman has also referred to the trilemma of energy security, and I think one figure brings this one home. By 2050 we expect a doubling of energy demand. He has referred to the environmental dimension. In the same time horizon, by 2050 we need to halve the global CO2 emission. And he has mentioned the equity aspect. We still have 1.3 billion people without access, and I think that very well defines the trilemma. We have to move ahead on all of those issues. As World Energy Council, we are quite uniquely positioned. As a leader forum, the World Energy Leaders Forum, we are active in 93 countries. We have 3,000 organizations as our members, and that includes government, private sector, academia, NGOs and associations, and makes us the deepest and most balanced global energy network. Now, the short story that we are saying is simple. We are saying the current system, the current energy system that is in place is not the one that we want. It's not the one that is sustainable, and so we need a profound energy transformation. What I'd like to do is lead you through a couple of results from our studies. First, starting with the issue mapping that gives an idea, gives a monitoring idea of where energy leaders worldwide think those are the issues that keep us awake at night, and those are the issues where we need to act now. This is a risk map. It's our energy issues monitor, and it's unpublished. It's our 2012 edition of the risk monitor, and the way to read this is you have on the y-axis uncertainty, on the x-axis impact, and high impact, high uncertainty on the upper right defines the area that keeps energy leaders most awake at night. Energy leaders from 93 countries tell us today that the 4 issues that keep them most awake at night are the first, climate framework uncertainty, the question whether we will or will not have a price on carbon. Second, the still ongoing Middle East dynamics, the question whether Arab Spring will affect the supply side when it comes to oil and also gas. Then the global recession, and yes, a global recession. It's not only in the Eurozone, it's also Brazil has a 2% real growth this year, China 7%, so the question on how that recession affects energy investments. And lastly, the high energy price volatility that we see as a product of all those issues. Now, a brief comment on our scenarios. We do, among the studies, we have one of the flagship studies which are scenarios, and I'm just showing you one slide on the transport scenarios. Why transport? We asked the question, within the challenges that I've outlined, what can be the contribution of this fastest growing energy consumption vector, the transport? This is the fastest growing. The willingness to pay for CO2 is highest in the transport sector. Yet, the potential to change would be quickest because the time period of the investment time period is much shorter for a car than for a building or for any other element of energy infrastructure. The short story here is that what may be good news for producing countries, namely a global increase by 2050 between 30 and 80% of liquids or of transport fuel demand, is obviously bad news for climate, as it means a 15 to 80% increase in CO2 emissions just alone from the transport sector.
This increase is clearly driven from non-OECD. OECD countries almost stagnate in this time period, but non-OECD countries obviously outgrow OECD countries around 2025 and then continue to grow, and there's obviously in that also the shift to east in terms of energy demand. Now with that, let me briefly come to the Congress itself. What are we aiming to do at the Congress? Obviously we'll take all our studies as a backbone to provide content to the Congress. Day one will be on vision and scenarios, the outlook, the big picture questions. Day two on business opportunities, the shale gas, the smart grid, the innovation side. Day three is the policy dialogue, the question on what are best practices in addressing the policy trilemma. And day four is more on the social innovation side. We have already 40 VIP and the number has gone up. We have managed to confirm an additional 10 in the last couple of weeks speakers, so we are already 40 VIP speakers. You have heard that in the exhibition space we have to expand because we have run out of space almost. The objective is to have 200 speakers, high-level speakers, 5,000 delegates, about 200 media at that Congress. I've listed here just to give you a sense of who has already confirmed, that you can see the level of the Congress. We have obviously the leaders on oil and gas, CEOs of Shell or Saudi Aramco, the two of the superlatives in oil and gas are already confirmed. On the utility side, we have a global coverage. We have all continents being represented already through their major utility heads. We have on the innovation and technology side all the major, many of the major companies obviously represented. We have development bank presidents confirmed. We have international organizations and governments and leading experts confirmed. So with that, we are definitely on the way to a very exciting program. And it's only the beginning. What greater place could we have for such an exciting Congress than a country that has committed itself to a green growth agenda? And how else could we better summarize in two words green growth, the trilemma? It's a trilemma, we need three dimensions, but I think Korea has managed to put three dimensions in 2 words, and that's the reason why we look a lot forward to the next year for the Congress in Daegu.